This is Catching Exceptions, and today I'm going to introduce you to the architect of architects, Liz Spranzani. So thank you for sitting with me. So first, let's start off and give me an idea. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a very small town in northern New Jersey called Butler. Pretty much nobody's ever heard of it. It's about 25 miles northwest of New York City.
And what was it that got you started in programming?
Well, my story is a little different than most. You know, you hear a lot of other people talk about getting involved in programming when they were kids. My dad did expose us to a computer early. He got us an Apple IIe, so I was playing games early on that, but it didn't inspire me necessarily to start programming. It wasn't until I got to college, I was a psychology major, and I did keep that major throughout. My sophomore year, I realized, you know, computers were really interesting, they were fascinating, and I felt like it was something I didn't know well, and that always troubles me. I feel like I need to understand things, so I took a computer science class and I cried through a lot of it. It didn't come as naturally to me, but then I started to get a feel for it. And after I realized, okay, now all that's easy. Let's move on to the next one and see what happens. That challenge, you know, really inspired me. So I decided to become a computer science major. Additionally, Toy Story had come out right around that time, and that was something that I thought, oh, that's really cool. You know, I want to try to do that. Not putting two and two together, that computer science and computer graphics are totally different, and that wasn't going to be the future. But yeah, so that got me interested in it as well.
So you were part psych, part comp sci. Back then, you must not really have thought about that combination.
In fact, most people didn't, you know, would ask what those two have nothing to do with each other. Why would you do that? But as I'm moving into the role I'm in now, which is more running the development department at Verndale, I'm starting to see where psychology can really come into play.
And I even see it spilling over into marketing and some
absolutely.
of the...
Yes, now especially with experience and looking at that and trying to inspire people on your websites, I mean, there's a lot of psychology everywhere.
What seems like a crazy decision can turn out to be a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I had to make a decision when I graduated. Do I go back to school for psychology and keep going, or do I go into computer science? And at the time, it was 2000, and it was at the peak before the bubble burst. And, you know, all the interviews you went on, you know, you were getting, you know, all these different options with fancy places with ping pong and fun things. And so that was something that a 22-year-old just couldn't pass up. So I ended up going into the web.
So you went in early 2000 and you did a lot of work with Verndale, and you worked your way up to senior vice president. Give me a little bit of walk me through how that...
Sure. I originally started... I had a job before for 10 months before I got to Verndale, and got laid off because the bubble burst and almost everybody got laid off around that time. And I started, you know, I had an interview with Verndale in 2001. In fact, my second interview with them was on September 11th, believe it or not. And that was actually part of the reason I took the job there, was because it was a scary time. No one knew what was going to happen, and they made me a job offer, and I felt like I had to take it. And I'm so grateful that I did, because it enabled me, you know, really to grow into where I am now. But when I started, there was 6 of us. I was number 7 in a one-room walk-up in Boston. And, you know, we were all wearing different hats. I was an engineer. And as the company grew, I became a senior engineer. And then we had need for leaders and became a technical lead, and then a technical architect. And then about a year and a half ago, I got the opportunity to move into the leader of development role. And it was a great opportunity, and it's been awesome. And the challenges now, they're different than before. I still do try to get involved a lot. I try to be there for, especially the elite technical leaders on the projects, to be somebody that they can bounce ideas off of. But the challenges now are, how do I keep people happy? How do I make sure they're doing what they want to be doing. How are we successful in all the projects that we work on?
What is maybe your most favorite type of project to work on? What really draws your passion right now?
Right now, it's I think a lot of the integrations. We're seeing in time where it's no longer, at one point it was a lot of separate systems. Then they started to consolidate it down. And now it's like a few key systems and integrating them in and just trying to understand, how all those pieces work together efficiently. I think those are the ones that I find most interesting right now.
And that's all the questions I have, but now this is your opportunity to give your message to the community, if you have one.
Absolutely. So normally I don't get on a woman's soapbox, but after going to the MVP Summit this year and seeing only 7 women Sitecore MVPs, I feel like the message that I really want to put out there to women is that, first of all, being a woman and knowing who you are is important, but to not let it define who you are. Focus on excellent work, focus on passionate things you're passionate about, and surround yourself with colleagues and people that have those same feelings as well. By doing that, you really can go as far as you want. So just, if you put your mind to it, you really can accomplish anything, and that includes women in the technology industry.
That's an excellent message.
Thanks.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
So that was Catching Exceptions, and you just met Liz Spranzani, the Senior Vice President at Verndale. Next time you see me, we're going to be getting to know somebody else. Till then, hang loose.